Dude, hey, you want me to sing for your birthday? Whoa,
Right.
guys, I'm just doing a cameo real quick. Hey, Pam Forrester, you have any big birthday? I'll sing for you. Hey, I'm not on Cameo. Pam Forrester is P Forrester, 24.
I am not on Cameo. I am not.
She will sing. She will dance. She will not sing and dance on the same Cameo.
I'll do a lot of jazz hands.
Yeah, there you go. The other new thing is that Be Real. I've heard about like on some of my tech podcasts that like apparently where like once a day. So it's supposed to be like the opposite of Instagram where everybody tries to like make your life look super good. Like
Yes.
it won't tell you, but like once a day, everybody that's on the platform, it says, okay, like you have 1 minute, like, and you got to be real. So then you have to take your picture no matter what you're doing at that moment. And it uses your front camera and your back camera. So like it would take a shot of me. Mine would be so boring because what it would be, me 98% of the time, it would be sitting there like, okay, I'm typing at my laptop. And then the front facing or the other camera would be like my laptop. So that'd be boring. That'd be real. Or be doing the podcast, which is almost the same thing, only I'm talking into a microphone and did a bigger computer instead of my laptop.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be super, super exciting, right? Be real. I'd be like, dude, Mike's life is so real. It's really boring.
That's what people would say about mine too. They'd be like, is she at her desk again?
Yeah, exactly.
Is she drinking coffee still? Like she was drinking coffee yesterday too, like all day.
Shout out. Dinner was on the Magic for Less last night. And guess what's going to be on the Magic for Less again tonight? Dinner, Magic for Less.
I didn't even want to send you the Taco Bell, but I knew that you would use it.
What? Oh my God, dude, keep them coming. I'm just telling you, Eugene is like, you got another gift card? I'm like, heck yeah, this one's from the boss. I was like, yeah. I was like, I get them from our listeners. He's like, you always have gift cards. I'm like, I know. People love me and they know what I love.
You know, Kelsey with her new role, she's like, what are we gonna send Mike? And I said,
she's like the Shaq of she's like Shaq is to Carnival as Kelsey is to the Magic for Less. That's like my analogy if I still keep
it's so true. We told her she was gonna be like a cruise director.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. By the time I'd love to do that too.
She's better than Julie McCoy though.
Yeah, that's it. She have a clipboard.
She doesn't have some of the issues that Julie McCoy did.
Keep her away from the coke. Okay, we got to do a podcast on that note.
Not on that.
Yeah, not on that. Others. You have a question? Legit. Yeah. Hey, Eric's Polynesian. Speaking of fun.
Dang. Fun, Eric. Love those new rooms, by the way. Both the regular rooms and the villas as well. They're both good.
And thank you for the support of the Magic for Less, Eric. We appreciate that so very much.
I wish I was at the Polynesian.
Oh, and James, he's my buddy he's one of our lizard friends, James and Brenda up in Minnesota, which they all think everybody now thinks I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, which I'm not hot or cold on the Vikings. I'm kind of neutral because I'm not a big NFL fan, but
yeah,
Vikings is our high school team, we're the Howell Vikings, but I can get behind your Vikings. It's fine. He produces, I don't know if you guys know this, he makes those little like flight boards.
Yeah, for the moonshine. Yeah, we know.
I'm drinking that jet fuel. You're drinking it off James's wood.
James, my husband has had that many a time, I will say. The chicken, the rooster, the homecoming there. And then there's also a Florida shaped one too. So yeah, some good stuff. And you know, one of the best parts of the moonshine flight is the pickleback. Pickle juice there and the pecan.
And he's with Reg. I love Reg. Hang on, I forgot to tweet. Hang on, we're answering and then we'll get started. Your listen. Shit.
They must sell like pickle juice in general, like places. In fact, I'm gonna Google that right now. I'm going to the Google.
A Goog.
Oh well, yeah, pickle juice shot.
Pickle juice is good for runners, I think.
Yeah, it has salt and it will replenish those electrolytes that you are losing by
ice baths, and I'm not doing that. I did that once at All-Star Music and almost stopped my heart. And I'm like, you know what? Probably stopping my heart's not good. I'm like, I'm probably not doing it. It was
Wow,
during
you can buy a big thing of pickle juice. Okay, now I may look into this. I probably would just need the smaller ones, but I actually love pickle juice.
I mean, I like pickle juice on a pickle. I'm not gonna drink pickle juice.
I like the taste of it, truly.
Can you drink like dill pickle juice? Can you drink it?
Yeah, I could just take a shot of it. Yeah.
Oh, man. They do actually pickle juice shots on our main street in St. Charles. We did that with a bunch of like the Shine Golds, the gardeners. We were out down here at Christmas time one year. We all were hanging out on our main street here in our town. And one of the bars, it says famous for pickle shots. And we all went in and did a pickle shot. But
The issue is like the sodium that's probably in there is probably not so great, but
tequila's probably not great for you either, but
yeah, but I mean, it's not that intense of a sodium thing here.
Oh, he's gonna make charcuterie boards.
Ding.
That's the real bell, by the way.
Ding, ding. Yeah.
Podcast. Hey, Reg, we'll see you soon. Oh, Rhonda Lee said after her half marathon, she got rewarded with pickles. You need to have burritos or something. You got a better reward.
Think bigger, not just pickle. James, I may reach out to you about that chicken board. We'll talk. Because I always need a good gift for him, actually. So I've noticed some of your woodworking stuff, and I've thought about this in the past.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Rhonda, we want you to think like bigger, like cupcake bigger or something.
Yeah, if I finish that marathon, you need a pickle. I'm like, what?
Like, I like pickles as much as the next, but I'm thinking, oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
that was good. Good for you. Yeah.
Now we're talking. Okay, we gotta get to work.
All right, let's answer some questions. Hopefully, we have some answers.
Popping in here, and then we'll be in trouble. All right. Oh, by the way, for the next show, we're doing tips for capturing your memories on your trip. We've done that before, but I got some new ideas.
Capturing your memories,
like taking pictures, videos.
Okay.
One of my tips is capture some audio, but don't steal it.
Oh,
because audio is kind of a thing, like don't just always take stuff.
It used to be a lot more of a thing. Remember when you could record with your iPhone? We'll talk about this for the Friday show but that was a deal.
2158. Where's the sound? Oh God, that dog's gonna come running in here and it's gonna be baldered and crap. And after she goes to the groomer, she's like she's on cocaine. She's like freaking out because she doesn't know where.
Rubbing all over everything. I don't know
what they give them or something. If they put them on like LCD or LSD or whatever the drug is to like calm them down, and she gets on that dog is a freak when she comes home from the groomer. So when she comes in here, she's usually calm. Dude, she might be doing backflips behind me in Spaceship Earth. I don't know. And she might be bald. It might not even look like the same dog. So I'm just saying, heads up, because she's been there for like 6 hours. That dog is.
They do it, I think, because they smell like something different.
Oh my God, she is a freak when she comes home from that place. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Did that 8 times. Welcome to episode 2158 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you are having another tremendous week, and we are here to answer your listener questions as we do to get you over that hump every week. And let's do it right now. And joining me as always, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel and the dealer of Taco Bell gift cards, Pam Forrester up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What's up, Pam? Thanks for the good old burritos and tacos. You can keep nothing says a happy employee like free burritos and tacos.
I'm like trying to picture this now. So what is your standard order? Let's think about this. Because, for those of you who know me, I did not want to indulge this in you, Mike. I didn't want to recognize this habit of yours in this space, but you don't
know how many times I've gotten asked by email what my standard Taco Bell order is. I've probably been asked this 15 times.
Let's hear it.
My listeners. Okay, so I got to tell you. So since I have been kind of on the IL with running over the past couple of weeks, I'm trying to cut back a little bit on the calorie intake, right?
On the
Because
tacos.
I'm trying to be careful, because like the one thing about running 13 miles a day, and then I usually walk about 5 more throughout the day, I usually get up to about 19 miles. So because of that, I tend to eat whatever I want. I don't care. Like, and it kind of, it's like a checks and balance thing, right? It cashes itself out. So my order when I go there typically is I get a cheese roll up, which is just basically like a burrito shell and some cheese in it. I get
Okay.
a cheesy bean and rice burrito, a chili cheese burrito, a Doritos Locos taco, and a nachos, just the chips and cheese. That's my normal order. Now, since I've been just walking every day, I've knocked out the cheesy bean and rice burrito, which is on the dollar menu, so it only saves me $1, but that's it. I get those 4 things and I'm happy, and because I get the nachos, so I can snack on the nachos on the drive back to the house. So I have
So,
some.
like, you're saying these words, and I have no concept of what they mean. Like,
Oh, they're
these
so
are
good.
these
Because you think about it, you get the nachos, they're kind of like your appetizer. You get a taco, it's a taco kind of thing. You get a burrito and 2 burrito things. So there you get 4 items. You're good to go.
Okay, I see. I legit probably have not been at a Taco Bell since like college.
Oh my gosh. Well, you should go back.
Truly.
Nostalgia. It tastes exactly the same as it did in 1991. I'm
Yeah,
telling
so I think that's what keeps me away.
you. It could. It could. 1991 was good to me, man. I just remember like in like 89 when Batman came out, there was a Batman promotion. And I remember there was like a Rocky and Bullwinkle movie that came out at some point during high school when I drove my MG. They had this
Oh,
thing
too
where
funny.
you had to eat like 35 or 40 tacos, and then you could send away and get like a t-shirt. Dude, I crushed like those 40 tacos in like a week after high school baseball practice every day. I'd drive through, get like a taco 10 pack, crush those things. The next day, just go up and get another hard 10 tacos, taco 10 pack, just kill them. So I'm just like,
So speaking of the 90s or the early 2000s, my husband rolled out in an outfit this morning that I think he may have worn the last time we were at the Taco Bell. So I don't know. I think like guys in general hold on to their clothes for a long time. Without I was like, where did these come from? He's like, I love this. I love this shirt. I'm like, this
from
is
what
like
I've
a
heard in the pre-show, like he's getting ready to celebrate Epcot 40. This was
Epcot
something
40, yes,
celebrate,
yes.
cargo shorts, ready to rock. You got to bring it back.
He's ready. He is
like,
definitely
when we
ready.
get on the plane, if we only got a couple of weeks, we're going to meet Dr. Kai. We're going to meet Ella. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go, stand where Horizons once stood. We're going to just kind of try to pretend like space isn't there, mission space, all that good stuff. Anyway, before we get to today's questions, because that's why you're here. And if you have questions, you're joining us live here on the Facebook or YouTube channels, drop them in. Vero Mike already has, and anybody else, please put those in there. I wanted to take a moment to seriously get serious for a second and thank everybody for the kind words in our Be Our Guest Podcast Lizards group, our running team, our group that gets together. And if you don't know, with the podcast, we've been doing this for almost 15 years, and we got this group together. A bunch of us get together at all the races down at Walt Disney World, and it's grown to where people get together at races outside of Disney. People, go to the Boston Marathon together. People go to the Chicago Marathon together, smaller races in Texas and Arizona, California, Illinois, wherever. People get together. We have over 2,700 members on the Facebook page. And if you want to join us, just go on Facebook and just search Be Our Guest Lizards. And it's an open group. It's a closed group. It just asks to join. Mike Bankhead, after a few days, will let you in. It just so we don't have any spammers. But it's a great group who supports each other. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, because I'll tell you what, I've been super frustrated over the past couple of weeks because I have not been able to run. And I always run every morning. It helps me get my mindset right. And I haven't been able to because of my knee. And everybody's been asking about my knee. And my knee is such a minor thing. It is not a big deal. It's a stupid knee injury and it's going to be okay. I got some results. It's not as bad as I thought. So I'm going to be back sooner than later. But everybody, so many people have reached out and just said like they're praying for me. They're, hoping for the best. They're encouraging me every day on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everywhere. And I just got to say, thank you. You guys are amazing. You guys, it's not a big deal, but you guys make it like it is. And you've made me feel so good in this very frustrating time. And the other thing I wanted to say is that we have folks on the Lizards that are battling things much more serious than a stupid knee injury. You know, I got like a cyst behind my knee apparently, and a couple of just other things. It's not a huge deal. But other people are fighting bigger battles, you know, with much more serious injuries. And just with the valor that people are fighting these things, the positive attitude. And when I log in and see somebody posts about their daily, you know, achievements, how they're fighting the struggle against, you know, some kind of a terrible illness or affliction that's battled them, or an injury, and how they're, you know, achieving great things. And I log in and I see after an hour after that post, it's got 52 comments, positive comments encouraging this person, 67 by the end of the day, 102 by the next day. This is what a family's about. You know, this is what love is. This is what a team is. And I just want to say that I am so glad to be a part of this, one member of this team. And Pam, you probably see this. You know, we don't mention this enough, but, you know, we get to talk about Disney. We get to just have a good time joking, cutting up here on the show. Hopefully, you know, getting some laughs out there, some good information. But when it boils down to it, we have amazing people who love each other. And I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank that, you know, thank everybody for being a part of that. It's amazing.
It's a great example of the good things that social media can do if people choose to use it in that way, really and truly. So it's a great example of it, and it's due to all the people that are in there for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So, and if you're battling one of those things, I'm with you. I'm praying for you. I know a lot of folks are going through a lot of stuff, and we're going to get through this all together. So hang in there. All right. Abigail's got a question. She says, listener question, first run Disney. So speaking of the Lizards, let's do a run Disney question. She says, hey, Mike and team, after being a fair weather runner who always said things like, I'm going to run a half marathon, and who wants to sign up for a race with me, but never actually ran anything more than a 3-mile race at a time. Listening to your podcast convinced me to get it together and sign up for something real. So I'm doing the springtime surprise 10 miler. I'm doing it alone. No pals wanted to join me, and planning to stay at the Dolphin so I can get those late night hours and borrow transportation from the boardwalk, which leads me to my questions. 1, what tips do you have for a first-time Disney runner? Any other tips for a very green race runner? Okay, she has 3 questions. Okay, first of all, I'm excited for you because you finally committed, and nothing says commitment like paying that race entry fee, because it hurts. And here's the other thing I've been thinking about. This is the first year, because of Scott, because he's done this a couple times, where I took the initiative to sign up for all 4 of the race weekends. I signed up for Wine and Dine. I signed up for Dopey. I signed up in the challenges at all 4 of them too. Like, I paid like too much money to run all these races. And I'm like, this is the first year that I'm not going to like get to one of the weekends, but I should have signed up at the last minute, and then, you know, be boxed out because you got to sign up immediately. This is the first year that I have an injury. I'm like, dang it. Like, my knee goes out. I mean, I can't, you know, hopefully I can get this together because I've paid all this money. I was like, this is how the world works, right? You sign up for these races, blow out your knee. Anyway, here's the thing. You're signed up, you're committed. First of all, and this is from somebody that's done a bajillion of these race weekends at this point, enjoy the journey from now till springtime, because there's going to be a lot of mornings, especially over the winter, where you're going to have to get in training runs. You don't have to go crazy because you got a lot of time for springtime, but enjoy those runs. Don't push yourself too hard, but be consistent in your training and enjoy it. Get yourself a new pair of sneakers at Christmas time. Look forward to stuff like that. Get a fun outfit. You know, treat yourself as you go through certain benchmarks, going from a 3-mile run to a 5-mile run to a 6-mile run to 8 miles to 10, and get ready for that. Also, watch videos, listen to shows. We have a lot of shows about Run Disney experiences in the archives. Just go to beourguestpodcast.podbean.com. There's a search box, search Run Disney, and you'll get some of those past shows. You'll enjoy those, and just be ready. The other thing I'll say about the race weekend is get there plenty of time to enjoy the Expo, because nothing gets you excited for the race weekend like going to the Expo. You see the vendors, you see all the other runners, you see people getting their bibs, you're going to get your shirt, you're going to be all pumped up. So don't just do an in and out real quick. Get there, enjoy it, and have time after the race. The next day, go around, get your pictures with your medal, ride the rides with your medal, enjoy that. So anything else, Pam, you could say for a first time runner to not forget?
I think you had great advice, and Mike has run a bajillion of them. And don't worry, if you're part of the Lizards group, you do not have to run alone in that space. You won't be there alone. There'll be so many other people that you can hang out with. There'll be meets closer to that will be talked about and plans, and you can join in on dinner plans and all kinds of things like that. That group's really welcoming in that space. So make sure you join the group, and then there is a Google Sheet actually as it gets closer to the race where you can sign up and have dinner with different people that are like-minded. So you won't be alone. Don't worry about that.
There's so many crazy things happening in the Lizards group. Like Rhonda Lee says, she's a Lizard up in Canada, subgroups for every race weekend, meetups, dinners. I mean, there's even a thing where we're going to do apparently over marathon weekend, there's going to be a group costume for one of the races where we're doing the Scotty G costume. Now, if you don't know,
goodness.
have you seen this yet?
No.
I talked about this on the Sunday Night Live show last night. So what is Scotty G known for running in? He runs in polos, like these real like nice Nike polos. We're going to get Nike polos in lizard green colors, and we're all going to run in those for one of the races is the Scotty G uniforms, right? Race uniforms. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. So there's actually a whole page. I mean, there's a whole thing. So that kind of stuff. So that's kind of fun to get ready. Number 2, how are the parks before and after the races? Currently booked for a few days after so I can bop around, but not sure if that's the right call. Do you think it'll be busier before or after the race? Pam, you've been down there for many, many of these race weekends. I don't think the runners have a huge impact at all. The one thing I will say, like, and you're not going to be there for marathon weekend, but the runners tend to go to bed early. So if you're a non-runner, which you're not, but if you're just down there with folks that are running, it's awesome because the runners bust out of the parks by like 6 or 7 and you can stay late. But I would say she's fine. The runners typically leave on Monday right after the race. So if you're staying a few days after, you're in really good shape.
Agreed. I don't think there's, I mean, so the things that will be impactful is the day after the full marathon, we'll probably want to get your picture taken in front of the castle, but that will be a busier day at the Magic Kingdom because you will be one of a bunch of runners that want to get their picture taken at the castle. So if you can do that early and then scoot to another park, that would, I think, be something that I would think about. And that's where it's impactful. But in the evening and things like that, because the runners are in bed, like Mike said, there is not a ton of impact that they have on the crowds. So
right,
things to think about.
Says number 3, is Dolphin a good choice for a race weekend? Are there any drawbacks to staying there instead of a true Disney resort? Thanks, big fan. Abigail, P.S. I'm a Chicagoan now, but a native Michigander and University of Michigan grad. Tell Scotty that my Wolverines are going to whoop his Spartans this year. Look out. Those are fighting words. And that's from Abigail. So Abigail, you need to call in on a Sunday night and just have it out. That's between you and Scott. I'm not getting in the middle of that Big Ten mess. But no, so the Dolphin, I've only stayed there like for a brief moment, one media event for a Christmas thing a few years back. I don't even know exactly how the race transportation works from the Dolphin and the Swan. I assume it works the same. But
that's what I was going to say. Just check that to make sure.
Yeah,
that they still have the race buses available there too.
Yeah, I would definitely check on that. And like Alan Young, if you want to get advice for anybody about Run Disney, it's Alan, who's one of our lizards, and he's the definite Run Disney expert. He is perfect. He's perfect Disney marathons. Not only has he run every Walt Disney World marathon, he has run the only marathon that happened at Disneyland, which is amazing. They had one. So he's in our live. And he says, be open to make friends at the expo, on the buses and the corrals during the run, etc. That is the best advice. I have met so many people because everybody's talkative. Like I go to a lot of these race weekends by myself and, I'm there with a bunch of the lizards, but a lot of the times, I'll check in at Pop Century, catch a bus over to the expo. I haven't met up with anybody yet, but you're always talking to people waiting for the bus over to the expo or on the bus to the expo. You're sitting next to a stranger, just tell them it's my first race weekend. I'm excited. They'll tell you where they're from. They'll give you their story. You'll give them theirs. And all of a sudden you're good friends. You may be in the same corral and you hang out for the next race. It's crazy how you can make friends like that. That is the best advice. Everybody wants to share. The runners like to talk. All right. Let's see here. We have another question from Vero Mike. It's about Run Disney. I promise this won't be all Run Disney, but he says, my wife is doing her first Run Disney in November. How long should we expect to spend at the Expo on Thursday? And what should we expect? So you can really, sometimes I'm like in and out in an hour. Yeah, I would say give a minimum of an hour, because the thing is, by the time you get dropped off by the bus, it takes probably 10 minutes to walk up there. Then it takes a while to kind of maneuver. You got to get in this line to get your bib. You got to sign this paper. You got to be in a 5-10 minute line for that. You got to get in a 5-minute 10 line to get your shirts. And then you're probably going to walk through and check out the merchandise. Now, sometimes I go through real quick. The one thing you need to know if you're a first time runner going to an expo, there's really 2 expos. There's one that has all the exclusive Run Disney stuff, the Run Disney branded stuff. Now, if you go early when the expo opens, there's going to be a huge line for that stuff. It's like the Run Disney shirts, the hats, they have pants. They used to have sneakers. They don't have those anymore. Remember those? The New Balance sneakers? Those were all the rage. I have probably 7.
Yeah.
They don't fit anymore. My foot grew actually since that, because I ran so much, my foot stretched out, and I'm bummed because none of the shoes fit anymore.
Well, plus it was weird that was like New Balance is so known for making a wide shoe, and they didn't make a wide shoe with that, which was weird.
I know. They're sweet shoes, man. I wore those things. I wore them to teach it for years. Those were my teaching shoes. That was like the process to get those shoes back in the day, though. You had to get in the virtual queue. I remember, because that was back when I used to drive. I get in the virtual queue like in Atlanta on the way down,
Oh my gosh.
on the phone. Oh my God, I'm in the virtual queue. Then you have to like see a person in the corner of the expo room, and they take you outside into like a tent. I mean, it was like one year.
It seems shady.
It was super shady. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get robbed. I got outside in the back of ESPN. I just need some shoes. Like, what's the secret word? The secret word is Donald Duck. Okay, what size you need? But yeah. So anyway, hour. But if you're a shopper, if you're a shopper, your wife's a shopper, 7 hours, and you're gonna be broke. I'm just saying. So be ready. Okay, here's a good question that's not Run Disney. Thank you, Mary Rose. She says, following up from this morning's podcast, you're not liking, is this about Harmonious? And we talked about kind of how Harmonious wasn't my favorite.
Right.
She says, you not liking it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with you being old. Because I must have said I don't like Harmonious because I'm old. Get off my grass.
You just don't like change.
She says, true. Don't mess with my Taco Bell. Anyway, Matt and I dislike it as well, she says. Matt didn't get to see it in person, but I did. We watched a 4K video of it on YouTube last night, showing it to our neighbor, and I legitimately didn't remember most of it. It is a 2-direction show, so you have to get a specific spot to get a good view of it. It also has too much going on. Water, screens, mist, lights, projections, music, probably the best part of it, she says, and fireworks. As a performer and director of orchestras, there is too much for the audience to focus on. Thus, nothing takes hold, nothing is memorable, and it isn't something most people are going to like. Enchantment is a much better in-person experience than Harmonious. Anyway, all to say, your age has nothing to do with disliking it. So that was Mary Rose's opinion on Harmonious. Maybe they tried to put in too much into the show. But I mean, again, I can see where Disney, if they don't put enough in, people are like, oh, it looks skimpy.
Plus, you have to be able to see it from all around. Like, I know it's hard for them. Really.
And again, we're gonna, get something. Is it Epcot Forever confirmed coming back for like a temporary period, or are they waiting till they get the new show?
I believe that Epcot Forever is coming back for a period of time.
I do like Epcot Forever. I like the music. I mean, the fireworks weren't like anything to write home about, but the music was cool.
And the jet skis.
Yeah, the jet skis. I mean, they got to do something because the kite tails, is going away at the end of the month.
Here's my dream, right? They do Epcot Forever, but the kite tails are part of it now.
Oh, that's what it is. They're going to bring over Mufasa and swoop him around. They're going to like put some candles inside of him, light him up, and
and have him crash into the island at the end.
Dude, you just cracked the code. That was the Konami code of Disney nighttime spectacular.
Let's start the rumor and see what
Yes.
picks this up.
We need to call Inside the Magic. That'll be the next headline. I shouldn't have said that out loud. But they'll be like reported on the Our Guest Podcast. Flaming Mufasa coming to Texas Lagoon.
Right. Yes.
Keep your kids 15 feet back from the rail.
100%.
Oh my God. I should not drink so much soda before we do these.
The crew of the Lion King confirmed to be part of Epcot Forever now.
Scar kill Mufasa, and Scar's coming for your kid in World Showcase every night at 9:08.
Exactly. Your favorite Lion King characters up in smoke because Disney doesn't care.
Oh, this is so bad. Okay, but we got to figure it out there. If this show happens, man, you heard it here first.
Wherever you see this reported, let us know.
All right, next question's from Brad. He says, Yankees fan with a question. Greeting BOGP crew. My very gracious father-in-law is treating us to a family reunion at Walt Disney World in July of 2023. Did I mention we're staying in the Beach Club Villas? I'm married up in many ways, he says. Yes, I did too. I know. Well, some of us were super lucky. Since he is treating us to this magical vacation, the least I can do is treat him to a memorable dinner to close out the trip. I've pondered many dining options, including California Grill, Topolino's, Steakhouse 71, Victoria and Albert's, etc. Since I cannot decide, I thought I would ask the experts. Where would you recommend we treat my father-in-law? Here's the caveat. There's going to be 15 of us. Thank you for entertaining us over the years, and congratulations to Ricky. 180 days till my next Joffrey's, Brad. And I'm helping Brad with this trip, so I appreciate his support. And Pam, you are the expert because, again, you have heard my taste in dining for the first 20 minutes of this show. Brad's like, Mike, shut up and let Pam talk.
Mike, there is not a Taco Bell.
Exactly.
So, well, I think the Victoria and Albert is a really nice thought. I think for a group of 15, that's going to be challenging. It's really a small venue. It's not as conducive to some of the jubilant, let's say, activities that go on when you're going to get a group of 15 together. Not that I have not been with groups, that I have totally been with groups who have been a little louder maybe than your average Victoria and Albert guest. But I will say, I think it's easier to just enjoy and relax and whatever at some of the other locations. And I think it'll be so much easier for you to get reservations there as well. So there's a few to mention here. Of course, I'll mention California Grill because I think it's just a great location. The thing you want to remember is right now, and we haven't heard about this changing, California Grill is a prefix menu. So you get an appetizer, entree, and dessert, and there's lots of things from which to choose, but check that out to make sure that everyone likes that. Another location I think that's always great is Chico. They actually have a private room, a wine room, which we've
the magic for less. We had the long table, and that was fun. We could actually all interact together. The food was excellent. That was a great big group meal. That was one of the best.
It was. So it's not. So with 15, you probably won't be able to take over the whole room, and they will in no way guarantee this. But what you can do is reserve for Chico. Then I would stop by there maybe earlier in the trip and just chat with whoever and say, hey, we have a group, whether they can seat you in that room or have something, somewhere else, it'll be fine. You'll have a great location there to dine. Another place I think that you're going to want to look at is Citrico's. It has reopened recently and has a great Mary Poppins theme. I think that's worth checking into as well. Narcoossee's the way it used to be, and we don't know because it is going to be down for, being rehabbed. Not great for a group just because of the way that the tables are set up. But another place you might want to consider is Yachtsman. But I think if you look at any of those choices, you'll have some great options and have a great dinner. And what a nice way to say thank you.
Yeah, they're going to have a great time. I mean, Brad's a big Disney fan. He goes a lot, and he knows this stuff. But this is a great way to show your father-in-law that you appreciate him, because this is a great trip. I mean, he's definitely hooking you guys up. And the thing is, I mean, you always want to stay in good graces with your in-laws. And this is
For
going to
sure.
be, and do it right at the end of the trip. That's perfect. That way you can ride on that plane home. I don't know if you guys are riding the same flight, but that'd be perfect.
That's right.
Fred's a smart guy, and hopefully we'll see his Yankees in October and November. We'll see. Whoa! Oh my gosh! So what's up with the Michigan stuff? I'm just opened up the next email and it's got a picture of Jim Harbaugh, like bigger than anything, like is the attachment. Okay, so this person is apparently a Michigan fan too. Dennis. Okay, well we're gonna go with this question here. It's actually a tip. I don't know if it's a tip about killing a lesser football teams in the like first 3 weeks of the season because they haven't played anybody yet, but we'll see. Let's look. Oh, tips for Yak and Yeti reservations. Dennis says, good afternoon, Mike. I'm offending all kinds of people today. Sorry about your Missouri Tigers last week. You've got me always keeping an eye on them now. Hey, we're 2-1. I mean, we're okay. We're going down. And now if we win this week, we will get a coach fired. So if we beat Auburn, promise you we'll get a coach fired if it happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. Following up on your tip, just wanted to pass along how we got Yak and Yeti reservations for our upcoming trip. Okay, he gives 4 tips. So if you want to eat at the sit down at Yak and Yeti, here's some good tips. He said, there was absolutely zero availability showing for our entire trip on the Walt Disney World dining website. I tried many, many times. I called Yak and Yeti directly, and they advised that I could for sure get in as a walk-in. They said only select club members can take reservations over the phone, and select club is like a proper noun. That's
right. The Rainforest group, the T-Rex group, they're all part of that same group. Yes.
Okay. So the third thing he says, I joined the Landry's Select Club. Yeah. And he says it cost $25, but I instantly received a welcome bonus of $25 and additional September bonus of $5. And then he said, I called Yak and Yeti again, and as a Select Club member, any day and time was open for our party of 6. Easy. We'll always keep this Select Club membership now, since Yak and Yeti is a must-do for every trip. Thanks. Take care, and thanks for the tip. So that's a good tip, because I mean, here's the thing. I've been to Yak and Yeti twice, the sit down, and we loved it both times, and my family loved it. My family's not real adventurous.
Yeah, right.
It's really, really good, and the atmosphere is fun, but it's one of those places. I think, it's kind of like a Tusker House. Like, it is just, we never talk about it. And I just think it goes under the radar all the time. You just don't hear about it.
Yeah, I agree. And that Landry's Select Club is actually good at a number of different restaurants located around the country and some around the world. I mean, they are like Bubba Gump's, is part of that. There's lots of restaurants there. So you might want to look into that to see if that's something that would benefit you.
Yeah, we had a Landry's when I worked at Space Camp back eons ago in 2002 and 2003, those summers. There was a Landry's seafood restaurant that was directly, across the road from our campus. I don't know if it's still there at the Rocket Center, but we went there a couple times. It was kind of fancy when you were making like $9 an hour. Like, it was.
Joe's Crab Shack. I was like, that restaurant was on the tip of my tongue, and I like lost it partway through my sentence. I don't know what that says about me, but here we go.
Okay, sticking in the Big Ten, Len, my good friend in Maryland, who is a Sparty fan, says we are going to Walt Disney World the first week of December, primarily to enjoy the holiday decorations. We have the parks, the deluxe resorts, and Fort Wilderness Campground on our list for viewing decorations. Is there somewhere else we're missing that we should include on our list? So they got the parks, the deluxe resorts, and Fort Wilderness. Man, he's got them. He's in good shape there. What
I think so too. I think really good shape. I think the only thing you might want to check on is see if there's any holiday specific things going on at some of the different resorts. Sometimes they have like a scavenger hunt that is good for that holiday. Wilderness Lodge is sort of famous for doing something like this. So you can just stop by the desk and just see if they have any specific holiday things that may be going on there. But you've gotten, all the big ones. The other thing, of course, is going to be Mickey's Very Merry if you are planning on doing that, just because in addition to the decorations, which you're going to see all day long when you're there in the Magic Kingdom, there are going to be very specific holiday activities that are only going to be available right there during the party. So consider that.
I did see today as we're recording that one of the parties is already sold out. The first party of the year. Not. I didn't see which party it was. I'm not saying it is the very first party of the year, but we have one date that is sold out already. That's crazy. It's September, mid-September.
Right.
These parties are hot.
They are
hotcakes. All right, Len, have a good. I will say one other suggestion that you might want to consider. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think it's so much fun to go play the Winter Summerland mini golf course and play the winter side because they play all the Christmas carols and you got all the snowy scenes. And I think it's always so fun to take selfies in front of like the sled and the little, presents and stuff like that. That could be kind of fun.
That's cute. Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
Okay. Oh, Julie. Thank you, Julie. Julie says Disney Springs, if they bring back like the Christmas tree trail or, they have the time to spread around the whole place. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, how we've missed Disney Springs. That's and they are, and Len says they are doing the Christmas party. So get your tickets now.
Good.
All right, Natalie's got a question in the inbox. Hey, Mike, my family's looking to stay at Caribbean Beach in February. The resort is huge and it scares us a bit, but we don't exactly want to pay for a preferred room, LOL. Can you request a certain location that is not technically preferred? Also, if you had to get rid of one of 3 resorts, which would they be? Thanks so much. Okay, so you can put any kind of request on a reservation that you like. Now, Disney does not guarantee these, but they do the best they can for their guests. They want you to be happy, but they can't, it's availability and how people are checking in, checking out. They try to, it's like a Rubik's Cube, right? They're trying to get everybody where they need.
I know, like Tetris, man. Yeah, you would not want to.
Yeah, Tetris better than a Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cube totally does not make sense. It's just, I watched it on the 80s this afternoon, and they were doing a thing about the Rubik's Cube, and jillion wrong answers, one right answer. That's why it was so popular. So thank you for saving me. But yeah, so if you see a part of the resort that looks good to you, put that on your reservation. I mean, you might get it. You probably will get it. Maybe not, but don't be mad if you don't. The thing is, it is a large resort, but every part of the resort has its advantages, right? I mean, if you end up in the inn that's the furthest in from the Skyliner, which is some people are like, oh, that's such a bummer. I'm so far from the Skyliner. Here's the thing. You're right next to the Riviera. Go over there and get a Madame Croque for breakfast. I mean, turn that lemon into lemonade, man. I mean, yeah, you got to walk. The thing's probably 7,000 calories. So walk to the Skyliner and burn 50 off. I mean, you got to look at it that way. Like, that's how I see things. Like, oh, dude, I didn't get by the Skyliner. Well, dang, I'm closer to the Madame Croque at Primo Piatto.
It's very true. It is very true. And especially at Caribbean Beach, you can walk right across the bridge there, and Aruba and Jamaica are there. And I think those are good locations too. But like Mike said, it depends on what you really want to be at. The good news is that the bus stops in each one of the islands, right? And different areas of the resort. And you can also use the bus as sort of an internal bus system. So pick it up in one location and have it drop you off near Centertown if you want to go there for a meal or something like that. The other thing they did was they put another quick service location in one of the buildings that is the furthest away from the main building. So that kind of helped with that as well. But there are a lot of factors to consider. But when we say make room requests, the thing that you want to do is, instead of saying like, I want room 3522.
Exactly. It's like, don't be Peyton Manning. Be like 42, 26, 38, 34.
No.
Omaha.
Tell Disney what you want so that they are in the best position to help you. So say, I want to be close to transportation. Okay. Or I would like to be closest to the Skyliner. Okay. I would like to be closest to the main building where the restaurants are. Okay. Another thing they can help you. The thing is, you're not going to be able to get all 3 of those probably.
my head just blew up because it doesn't have, like, it's like,
right.
Does not compute.
Right. Exactly. But that's what you want to do.
Yeah, totally. It's like when I'm with my kids, like, you want me to just make that thing because it doesn't exist?
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Doesn't exist.
Right.
No, just kidding. And she says, if you had to get rid of, let's say, okay, here, let's do a hypothetical because my head has been hurting about this. Okay, let's go with the moderate resorts, just the 4, because she said 3, but there's 4. So we're not going to talk about the cabins because they're kind of in the moderate category. Yeah, French
Yes.
Quarter, Riverside, Coronado, and Caribbean Beach. Let's say like back after like September 11th or COVID, you're not gonna like blow one up and just explode it. But you're gonna have to, let's say you have to close it because like you have to kind of just take it out of the inventory for a while. Pull one out. Which one are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm gonna do Riverside, which I
Oh,
know.
dude.
I know, right? But I will say, so here's why. Coronado, of course, you're not getting rid of that because that's
No,
my favorite one.
Yeah, it's Coronado's. I mean, because it's got you can't do Coronado.
Right. No. Caribbean Beach is on the Skyliner now. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
French Quarter is really unique and small. So people who are looking for a really small resort or something with a really unique theme, they're going there. And I think Riverside has a lot of pluses, and I know that so many people love it. But the thing is, the theme doesn't blow me away, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful resort. I think Alligator Bayou is more themed maybe than the mansions part of it, but that whole thing. So that's why I'm going with Riverside. I don't know, Mike. What about you?
See, I'd get rid of French Quarter. I mean, just because it's the same reasons, but I mean,
Yeah.
and exactly the reason I wouldn't get rid of French Quarter is because of the size. The size is a huge selling point. It's the smallest resort of all of them. I mean, it is one bus stop. It's great. But
yeah, you can walk from here to there.
I mean, Riverside, but I mean, the thing is, Riverside's got a sit-down dining.
It does.
It's got live entertainment Wednesday through Saturday with Yeehaw Bob. I mean, it's got like the horse-drawn carriage. I mean, it's got more going on than French Quarter.
It does.
You're
right.
But it's twice as big. It's a big resort. So
we stayed at French Quarter back when it did have a sit-down restaurant.
Bon Familles, or I don't know how you say
Bon Familles, yes.
Yes. I was like, oh, I want to go there, and I never got there.
I know. Yeah, it was themed after the Aristocats. And yeah, it was actually really a good location because of a huge storm that came through one of the times we were staying there. We actually ended up eating there twice within like 5 nights because we were at like, we're not going anywhere. So what can we figure out here? So
in the Scat Cat Lounge, right? Because I used to just remember, I mean, do you remember back? I mean, this was, before like Twitter and social media, I would just read those Birnbaum guides, like cover to cover, like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like, I just remember French Quarter just stood out to me. Like, and that's where I stayed the first time I went. Like, that was one of those things. Like, I fell in love with it just through a guidebook. And French Quarter looked better in a guidebook than any of the other resorts for some reason. And I think, it looks great in person. I think it just works. And I think
it's that theming. I think it really is. And when you're there, it really, I love the way that they themed like the emergency exit steps at the end of each building and all of that. So they did a really great job with that resort. And I think that's why it does impact people.
All right, let's get to one more question. And I'm sorry if it is a Run Disney question. This is not supposed to be the Run Disney question. That's what's coming in because we're getting up to race season. So it is from Rebecca. She's in Delaware. If I paid attention in 4th grade, DE is Delaware, correct?
Yes, I believe
Jeanette.
so.
Jeanette's from Delaware. So, but Jeanette is the world traveler, by the way, one of our great agents at the Magic for Less. I mean, she's hopping continents like nobody's business over the last couple of months. My guy, you need to follow her on social media because I want to live Jeanette's life. She's on the Magic right now, right? Is that not right?
Yeah, she's over in England and was seeing everything going on there. So for sure.
Yeah, man, doing it all. Okay, she says, hey, BOGPers. Question about crowds around race weekends. We are planning a trip the second week of January 2023, arriving on January 8th, staying at the Boardwalk. I know this is the marathon day and at the end of a race weekend. I'm wondering about the days after a race as far as crowd-wise. Do more people come before the race to do park time, or is it super crowded those few days after a race with runners staying after the races are finished? We are seasoned Walt Disney Worlders, but have never been close to a Run Disney event. Super excited about the January weather. Okay. Hang on. Let me talk about that in a second. These dates are set for us as that is the last week where both of my college students' kids are still on winter break at the same time. Thanks in advance, Rebecca. Okay, first, that was not supposed to be a snide comment. But I will say, marathon weekend in the past has brought crazy weather swings.
Yes.
I mean, it has
Yes.
brought beautiful weather some year. I'm just saying because I am still having issues with the weather for some of the races, because some of the wet races, you can see me after 26 miles, I still have on like a long sleeve Nike, like the thermal stuff, like the football players wear in January at Lambeau Field.
Yes.
I am on the head thing where you just see my face because it's that cold now, and I have been out running for 5 hours at this point, and I'm still wearing gloves, the thing that only my eyes and my face are sticking out, long sleeves, and the tights. I mean, I am still bundled up at the finish line. So it was cold those years. And then we've had the year like a couple of years ago where at the marathon they had to cut the course because it was so hot. People were dropping. I mean, saw people just get
crazy.
Oh my God, it was brutally hot. So I'm just saying, but there have been nice years. So don't sweat it because you have no control over what it's gonna be like. Let's just all say it's gonna be 60 and sunny. It's gonna be nice. But the thing is, I would say again, you're going to be good. Again, we talked about this earlier, especially if you want to go to the parks at night, you're golden over marathon weekend because the marathoners are typically the more serious runners that go to bed early. And I would say probably 60-70% of the people leave on Monday because most people, or a lot of people, run dopey and they've used up a lot of their days off of work. Like me, a lot of teachers do this. A lot of people that have jobs and they're there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, they're on a plane. Like they may go into the Magic Kingdom, get some pictures, but by like dinner time, most of the runners are out of there. You'll see some runners straggling, but I mean, do you agree, Pam? You've been there over these race weekends. I would say by Tuesday, you're going to see runners, but most of them are out of there.
Yeah, 100%. So many end up leaving and they aren't there for that many days before usually either. The thing that will impact it is where New Year's Eve is in relation to the race and where Martin Luther King Day is in relation to the race. And that tends to influence it probably more than anything else.
Yeah, I think this year we're okay, but I think next year for 2024, this is that year like we had. Remember that super cold year? We all hung out and we were down there for New Year's Eve and went right into marathon weekend. It was super because I remember I had the Chewbacca hat on and all the pictures at Epcot for New Year's Eve. That was an awesome New Year's Eve. That was great. We had so many people. There was that is how Epcot is supposed to be. Except I waited
100%.
I think I waited 7 hours just to get plain fried rice in China.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God, it was packed, but that was so much fun. But yeah, you're going to be fine, especially if you're going to the parks after a race weekend. You are really good. You're really good.
Yeah.
And have a good time. Hopefully we'll see you down there. So say hi if you see us. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today's show. You have questions. We do run Disney questions, but we also talk about other things. So if you have questions about stuff other than Run Disney, Mike at ourguestpodcast.com. We'll get those on the show next week for you. Also, you can join us when we record the shows, usually around 5 o'clock Eastern during football season here as Mallory has cheers. So we're going with the listener questions a bit earlier. So join us on Facebook and YouTube and you can ask your question live and get right to the top of the queue there. Don't forget, shows always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. So check them out. The best thing to do is swing by the website. Just go to themagicforless.com. It's a great place to kind of just start thinking about your trip. There's awesome trip planning tools right there. Resort guides, specials. You want to see the specials going on at all the destinations, cruise line, even Universal, Adventures by Disney. Check it all out there. And then there's a great button. Just click it. You can fill out the quote form. You might have a lot of information. You might just have a little, but fill it out with as much as you have. An agent will get back in touch with you right away. There's no obligation ever. And we'll let you know, what do those dates look like? What's the availability look like? What's the initial pricing look like? Then we just go from there. It's super simple, no obligation, and we have a good time planning those trips. So check them out today. We'd love to work with you over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click really does help us out. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who make all these shows possible. And sorry for all the snide comments today. Patrons, I apologize. But our patrons get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest, where I talk about growing up here in Missouri, a lot of other fun topics. So if you'd like to get in on that, come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Pam a follow on the social media. She's at TMFLT Pam. You can also follow the Magic for Less on Instagram. Just look for the Magic for Less Travel, I think it is. It's either the Magic for Less or the Magic for Less Travel. I forget every time I do the ad, but there you go. And also you can follow me, Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. I'd love to talk to you this week. All right, we are going to be back again on Friday, and we're going to Ricky's going to join us, and we're going to give some more tips about capturing not only your pictures, but also video and even audio. Audio is important for your Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line and Disneyland trips. We're going to talk about bringing those memories home and using the technology that's in your hand and it's also in your bag. What do you have with you? And what can you do to make sure that you bring home the best memories so that a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, you can look back on that trip and share it with others and also remember what a special time that was, that week, that weekend, that fun time in your life. So we're going to talk about tips to capture the magic on Friday shows. I hope you'll join us for that. So until we get back together again, for Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yeah, Len, we moved it up a little bit because Mallory cheers. And so I got to she does JV and the JV games are on Monday nights. So it's like until November. So we are just bumping things up a little bit. 21:56. So instead of, tonight I'm getting Taco Bell because it's an away game and Taco Bell's on the way. But usually I go, there's a Dairy Queen between our house and the home field. So I just drive through and get Dairy Queen cheeseburger.
I know we've kind of shaking. We've been shaking it up.
Yep. Oh, let me send Ricky the text. Did you get the new phone?
I did not.
I did.
I'm gonna wait and see.
Because I hadn't gotten one in a couple of years, so I upgraded. Because they gave me a ton of money for my old one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have the 13, so
I didn't have the 13.
The camera is the bomb.
Oh yeah, dude, I just took that picture. Like that's one of my tips is like practice mess around with your phone before you go on your trip.
Yeah,
like screwing around with the selfie, and I took like a portrait selfie. That was kind of cool looking. I didn't know you could do that. You could probably do it on my old phone. I don't know the 12 because I had a 12, I think. It gave me almost $600 for my 12, so I was like,
that's not bad.
And it was filling up too. I mean, I could get rid of it. I keep my stuff on Google Photos, but. Oh, Kevin's getting ready to ride Tower of Terror. Nice. You have entered a dimension of sight and sound. I love doing that. Oh, just update on the knee for folks that are here. The knee is, so what was that called? Pam? Baker's cyst?
Baker's cyst.
I have a Baker's cyst, which isn't a big.
Water on the knee is what they used to call it.
That sounds gross. I'm gonna go with the Baker's cyst. That doesn't sound good. So yeah, so I'm in pretty good shape. I mean, the doctor told me that I should count out wine and dine. He said because he's a Run Disney guy, and actually he's run all the Run Disney races. When I went into the exam room, he had a picture of the Walt Disney World Marathon on the wall, and he had all kinds of marathon pictures like Berlin and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But the problem was in the picture, it was like a painted picture. It was like a sketch, but the people were running. I didn't ask him this, but there was something. I'll post the picture. There was a problem with the picture. Everybody's running away from the castle, like towards the train station. Like when you run, maybe it was from 2008 or something. Maybe back in the old days, you ran the opposite direction. But ever since I've run it, you run like towards the castle. So I'm thinking, dude, this is fake news here. Everybody's running the wrong way. But, so he told me, he's like, sorry, Mike, it doesn't look like wine and dine is going to happen for you. I'm like, watch me. I'm going to get a PR. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm back, baby. I'm going to try to run on Friday a few miles and see how it feels.
Len, that's what I told Mike, that used to be one of the things that was on Operation Water on the Knee. Remember I told you that? And then it was like the bread box. I was always like, what is happening?
Yeah, here? The funny bone, the wishbone.
All these terminologies.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm running wine and dine. I'm doing the challenge. I will finish. Trust me. My goal is to beat my time from last year, and last year was a PR. So that's I'm a stubborn SOB. I'm just saying. That's how I roll. The pencil. Yeah, the pencil.
The pencil, right. What was the pencil actually, thinking about it?
I don't know, but that game, but the game that really freaked me out when I was a kid was concentration. The one where you had to put all and you blow those things up at you. Remember that one? Like you would do the timer and you would have
like perfection.
Actually, I think like
I love that game.
You're gonna blow up on you. Dude, that thing give you like PTSD.
Oh, for sure. Like you would like jump.
Oh my
not
God.
here.
It's a miracle we made it. What's up, Ricky?
Can you guys see me? You can't see me, can you?
We see you, yeah.
Oh, I don't see me.
We see you.
I do not see.
Was so hard.
I do not
because
see.
It rolled.
I do not see myself at all. That's weird.
We see you.
Should I log out and then come back in?
You look fine and sound fine.
Okay. I'm just worried that I'm not here, but I guess if I am here for you guys, good enough.
Good.
I just want to see myself.
We all see you.
All right.
You have on a big parka and a hat.
I do. That's exactly right.
Dude, it's 95 degrees here right now, Ricky. It is stupid hot.
Well, how hot is it going to be this weekend?
This weekend, well, so it's only going to be like 68 on Thursday, but it's going to be 95 today, 96 tomorrow, 97 on Wednesday. We're getting a heat wave.
That's still not answering my question. What's it going to be like this weekend?
Oh, like 80, I think.
Oh, okay. That's
Oh,
fine.
you're going to be here this weekend?
I'm going to be in the STL this weekend.
Yeah. What are you doing in St. Louis? You're not going to Just City?
It is my 20-year high school reunion.
Holy crap. Hazelwood Central, huh?
I'm actually going to my high school reunion. Yeah. So I'm gonna go hang out with all my friends. And
I've never gone to one of my reunions.
I wasn't planning on going to this one, but my friends sort of convinced me. So I was like, okay, I miss you guys. I'll see you. I'll come see you guys. So.
That's cool. Where is it at?
It's actually at Ballpark Village.
Oh, nice. A good.
Yeah.
Glad this not in North County.
No, it's. I am. We do have the opportunity to go to see the high school though, so I think I might do that. I haven't been there since I literally graduated. So.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
Those were the days, man. I used to love our high school. Hazelwood Central, baby.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, my 30th was this year, but I never went to one.
Yeah.
I just never did. I was gonna say, so I gotta tell you this, and I promise we'll start. We're gonna do about capturing images, capturing the memories, like tips on remember. We've done this before, but just more tips on like photography, videography, stuff like that. So there's for some reason because I watch this old folks channel. It's called Me TV, so it's got like
I even know what Me TV is.
It's like Walton's. It's got In the Heat of the Night, which I'd never seen that show ever, but I'm kind of getting addicted to it.
Oh my God.
Like Walton's, like with the guy Archie Bunker.
Oh my God.
But it's funny because it's like in the South. It's such bad acting that I love it. It's
of course.
That football playing dude that played for Ole Miss, like a cop. Just in the show, I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, there's a commercial they show every day during the show, and it's at your parents' old studio.
Oh,
it's like a lounge now. It's like
that's really funny.
Bar lounge. It's
that's
like
really
411 Rue de Francois.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's Ricky's parents' house.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
You just people dancing right there where they used to shoot pictures right there in the commercial.
Hey, why not? Might as well.
Smoking cigs and dancing.
There you go. Why not? That's funny.
That is funny. So ready to rock this?
Ready to go.
Well, Dennis and I are the same age. Yep, my 30th was this year too. Class of 92, baby. 2. So you were the class of 02?
I was, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I remember I subbed for your class at Jamestown Elementary.
I don't remember it, but I remember it from you telling me.
I hated subbing at that school, by the way.
That school was really bad. Yeah.
That school, Pam, her school that she went to.
Yes.
I subbed in her class. It was an open school model. So there were no walls.
No walls.
In any of the classrooms. They just had bookshelves that were like maybe 3 feet tall. So
correct.
So I was trying to teach a class, dude. I could see in every other class in that dang school. Like, you could
Yes.
just see all the teachers and all. It was the most ridiculous idea.
I don't know why they thought about doing it that way.
I hated
They
something.
ended up enclosing everything eventually.
Yeah, because it was a
but
terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. Yeah, I don't know why they did
Oh
that.
my God, it was such a dumb idea. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
It was bad. It was
cool.
bad. Mike, what is wrong with your knee, by the way?
Oh, I got a Baker's cyst.
What the?
Baker's dozen.
I don't even know. That.
Apparently, Pam knows from the game Operation. It's water on the knee.
Oh, and how do we get rid of that?
He told me to take 2 Aleve twice a day and go to physical therapy.
Oh, okay.
So you know that means. Yeah. I mean, I already take 3 ibuprofen at night and 2 in the morning before I get on the treadmill. And so, what I heard was ding 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 ding. Everything. But I don't have a torn meniscus. My ACL, my MCL are intact. I'm starting to run again on Friday.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, there you go.
But I'm not going to run 13 miles, people. I'm going to run like 3 to start, and then add like a lap every day. That's kind of how I build back up. That's how I build back up after my kidney stone. My wife's ticked.
Yeah, I would be too.
Did the doctor call? Yeah. She's like, what did he say? I'm like, I'm okay. What did he say? I'm like, not much. So I took a screenshot. I'm like, we only talked for 2 minutes because it showed like 2-minute call.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So let's do this. Yeah, I'm glad nothing's torn either. It clicks though, and something did pop like 3 weeks ago. And he said that could be maybe because I have something back there. But oh well. Okay, here we go. Oh, 49 or no, 59 this time. 2159. Wait, no. Yep. Nope, 2160. Holy smokes. I forgot about the live show. Okay, here we go. So if anybody has tips, put them in the live chat. We'll use your tips as well, and we will credit you. You will not get a free meal at Taco Bell, but we will give you joy and cheer.
There you go.
Cheer.
Joy and cheer. Sunshine and rays. Okay, here we go. Wait, no. Just real quick, and then we'll go. Wait, I can taste the Taco Bell right now. You missed it, Ricky. On the first show, I gave Pam made me give my Taco Bell order.
Oh my gosh, I'm sad. I missed that.
Listen to the show on Wednesday if you want to know what I get at Taco Bell.
I missed that. I'm very sad now.
No.
I didn't know what any of those words meant. There was a Dorito something or other.
Dorito Loco Taco? That's
good. Yeah, heck yeah, baby.
I do like the Doritos Loco Taco. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It is good. It is good.
Creation from God. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2160 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Yes, we've made it through yet another work week, and it is time for a fun fall weekend. We can say that because fall officially snuck in here yesterday. So, we're going to have a nice first weekend of fall. So you can officially now bust out the pumpkin with the pumpkin spice lattes and put the corn stalks on your front porch. Pumpkins are allowed out on the front porch. Jack-o'-lanterns, not yet. Pumpkins.
Too early.
Corn, you can have corn stalks. I mean, we might have to have like an Instagram live or something with a, this is allowed, this is not allowed right now until October 1st kind of thing. But right now we're here to talk Disney, and we're going to talk a little technology. We're going to talk about capturing memories and images and just the moment so that you can relive those moments when you're back home after the trip is over, so that you can kind of make that trip last longer than a weekend or a week or 10 days or 14 days if you're British, and you're super lucky like that. So joining me today, we have your friend and mine, Ricky. She's from the Mouse for Less. Ricky, happy Friday. What's going on?
Happy Friday, and I'm going to be in your neck of the woods this weekend, so you better have some Emo's Pizza ready for me, and I'm looking forward to, eating some, pasta and, let's see, Lion's Choice, maybe some doozles. I'm ready to have a good St. Louis weekend this weekend, so let's bring it.
So I'll be in town because Mizzou's playing in Auburn this weekend, so we're not going to Columbia. So maybe I'll have to see you there.
Maybe we'll meet up. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. I'll be in the area.
Okay, there you go. So if people don't know, Emo's Pizza is the square beyond compare. It's
It
our
is.
pizza that they cut into squares. But the thing about Emo's Pizza is what, Ricky? What makes it distinguishable from other pizzas?
It is made with Provel cheese.
Right, Provel cheese,
which is the most amazing cheese ever, and you can only get it in St. Louis. Just about like they don't have.
I've heard that, yeah, because I mean I've listened to the podcast and like this one guy used to live in St. Louis and he's moved to Seattle and he says you cannot buy Provel cheese. Like
you cannot.
That's weird. Like,
yeah, actually, my parents were actually in St. Louis last weekend, and my mom stopped at Costco and she bought I guess they sell Provel cheese at Costco, and so she bought a couple of tubs of Provel cheese to bring home with her, and I guess she'd put it in her carry-on. And of course that bag was the one that got flagged, and she's like, I bet you can't guess what's in that bag. And he's like, cheese. And she's like, yes. And he's like, you wouldn't believe the amount of cheese we get through here, actually.
I've heard the cheese can get you in trouble. Like Canada actually has like some imported or exported cheese. Like people go to jail for that up in Canada.
Well, I mean, no going to jail in the States. So
yeah, I've been saying, I mean, just don't play with that if you go to Canada. If you go,
I won't. But I might have to pick some up.
Take some cheese.
I might have to pick some up. I might have to make a Costco run and pick some up. Although the problem is, see, if I picked up an entire little container of Provel cheese, my husband will have it eaten in the course of like a day, maybe a day and a half. And I mean, that's a good sized container of cheese. So I'm just saying, like, that will be eaten. And just plain, he'd just take it and just eat it. Like, it wouldn't go on anything. It would just be cheese.
And he'll be stopped up till the baby comes.
He doesn't care about that. He's just like, cheese.
Then we'll take bets. What's going to arrive first?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, let's move on.
Pam Forrester's here. She's going to the Magic Celeste Travel, and she's going to bail us out here on a Friday night.
I will. And I'm going to share my rules according to when you can put out fall decor, Christmas decor, all of this. Okay. There are hard and fast dates in my book. Okay. So if putting out fall decor brings you joy in some way, I say whatever date you want to put it out, be my guest. If Christmas or any other holiday that you are celebrating, if it brings you joy to put out those decorations, then by all means, leave them up all year for all I care. I want people to be happy. So
have joy, right?
Do whatever you want.
And your HOA puts up with that? Come on now. Yeah.
Well, some of these might have to be indoors,
not outdoors for these things.
Or we're like that tree. Yes, we are celebrating Valentine's Day with the tree this year. We certainly are. Yeah, and Easter too. Yes, and 4th of July. No, but yes, seriously, I cannot believe the amount of contentious conversations that occur on social media because of when somebody else is putting out their decorations. I'm always like, oh, okay.
I love it. I love just reading it. It's hilarious.
Unless I'm asking you to come help me do it, I don't know that you should really have an opinion about it, but whatever.
So when we first moved into our house, we've been living here about 3 years now. I love where we live. I mean, I am so happy. I mean, we've got a little modest house, but it's just in a great area. And the thing is, we got this little scrawny tree in the front yard, which is, I don't know if like where you guys live, but we have like a sidewalk in front of our house, you know, it goes around our subdivision, but then you have that chunk of grass between the sidewalk and the street. It's probably about, 3 feet.
Yes.
Like I guess it's like, city owned grass or something. I don't know. I mean, it's part of our yard, but apparently like when they built the subdivision, like the city went through and put like trees, like in that section, like for everybody. So we got this scrawny little tree in that area. But I mean, it's alive, right? And so we first moved in, and within like 3 months of us living here, we got this letter from the HOA, like, you got to do something with that tree because it's curved. And because it's not like fully grown. It looks like the Charlie Brown tree. It kind of goes up, but it kind of just a little bit. But I'm like, I'm not taking that. What if you're a fan of Charlie Brown and you like the aesthetic of that?
Right.
Right.
And I'm not one to like fight. And I like that we have an HOA and we try to keep our subdivision looking good. But I'm like, dude, that tree is barely leaning to one side. And I'm a Charlie Brown fan. That's a hill I'm going to die on. That tree is out there, and I just tore up that letter, and I've not heard back from them.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
that tree
They're
is
probably finding you every single like month that
I'm not
you
paying it. I'm not because I told them, because this was like, we got it in the summer. I'm like, I guarantee what I'm going to do at Christmas. I'm going to get a blue blanket. I'm going to put it around the base of that tree, get a big old red ornament and put it on the top of that tree. And it is going to be the Charlie Brown tree. And if they come, I'm like, look, I've been waiting all year for this, people.
No.
That's a challenging place to grow too, because
Yeah.
you have the heat from the sidewalk and the heat from the street,
That's true.
just like pounding that little area. So we don't have, I think, have been decreasing the size of that space, because there is not a big enough spot to even plant anything.
Dude, I'm like,
just grass. We had to pay for it to be sodded so that the city can own it.
I'm like, dude,
yeah, right.
You out there with like a sextant or something measuring the angle of our stupid little scrawny tree? I mean, it's alive. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I can see if it was like dead.
I know it's not like it's dead. It's probably giving shade to some squirrel on a hot July day. Back off, man.
You should probably just put a stake in and start pulling it the other way.
Put the guy the satisfaction. Heck no, I'm not doing that at this point. I'm gonna hang on the thing and pull it more. Anyway, let's get to today's topic. Today we're talking about making your trip last longer. And we've done this topic before, but there's more tips that I've been thinking about as to bringing home the magic, capturing the magic. Ricky is an expert because, her family, because your family owned a photography studio.
Yes.
Your mom and dad are both master photographers, seriously.
Yes.
And you've grown up in the business. And I love taking pictures. Pam, I know that you've done some amazing work with your husband, Steve, over at the Magic for Less with videos and stuff like that. I just thought we'd give some tips as to how to bring home not only still images, but also video. And the first tip I wanted to throw in today, and the reason this kind of came up was it's that season again, right? It's September, it's October, the new phones are coming out. Whether you're an Apple person, the new iPhones just came out in just a couple of weeks. The new Pixel phones have come out. The new Google phones will come, Google, Samsung, all the phones come out in the fall. And I have two tips right off the bat. One, if you get a new device, play with it.
Yes.
Play with every option before you get on the plane to go on your trip. Try everything out at home. Try all the filters, try all the options, try the portrait mode, try the 1 zoom, the 2 zoom, the 3 zoom. The 0.5 will give you some interesting images with the wide lens. Some of them are goofy looking, but some of them are awesome. But play with all your image. That's the first tip I'll give is if you get a new device, and even if you have an old device, but you haven't even explored it, go into your camera app and look at all the options. Because the thing is, even if you have an iPhone 10, an iPhone 11, or a Pixel 5, a Pixel 6, there are so many settings now that you can get so creative. And what I would do is when you're walking your dog, this is what I do at night. Take a picture of the sunset. I'm just messing around. We have a lake. I try to take a picture and see if I can get the ripples on the water, or, take a picture of a tree, especially this time of year as the leaves start changing. And then by playing around with the settings, the filters, stuff like that, when you get to Walt Disney World, you'll have in your mind's eye, oh, this is kind of a great way to take a picture of the Christmas tree if I'm down there at the holidays. Or, if I want a wide shot of the castle, but not just the castle, but maybe some of those turrets, you have an idea of, oh, I'm going to use this lens, not the 3, but maybe the 0.5, things like that. Ricky, have you done that? I think at home is where you practice so that you have an idea of what you can do when you actually get to Walt Disney World or on a cruise or wherever you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, playing with all the different features that your phone has is going to be so key because especially ahead of time, because what it will allow you to do is it will allow you to think of things in totally different ways while you're in the parks. So, you may think, oh, I'm just going to do the standard shot of, the Haunted Mansion or whatever. But I've been known to take my my camera and use the portrait mode on it, and I'll focus in on like one of the spindles on, the Haunted Mansion outside. And you can see the mansion, but it's blurred in the background, so I'll do is like, I'll play with it like that. I do that a lot with like really close up stuff where I'll just take a really intense close up shot of something. Like say it's right now, we've got all the 50th anniversary, sculptures out. So I'll get a close up intense photo of, say, the sculpture, and it'll blur out all the background. And, then I'll do that for every single one, or as many as I can, because I know some of them are a little further away that don't necessarily allow for you to do that as easily. But then that way I have a really unique, a way of remembering, the 50th anniversary. But, then these pictures look totally different than anything that anybody else would have, which is kind of cool too. So, play with color, play black and white. I love, just going in and shooting in black and white down there, occasionally. Again, a lot of times with that portrait mode, because you get some really unique shots there too. So, just play around with it a lot is going to be so key. And then when you're in the parks, try to look at things differently, you may see, okay, here's the standard shot of, this attraction or whatever I'm taking a picture of. And then let me take a picture of, a little bit closer piece of it, or, a different angle, or I'm going to tilt my camera, or, I've been known to not get on the ground, but kneel on the ground a little bit and shoot up a little to take pictures of, say, Tower of Terror to make it look even more imposing than it actually is, stuff like that. So I'll think of different ways to kind of frame the shot while I'm in the parks. And sometimes I think of it ahead of time. Sometimes I think of it just while I'm in the moment. But, trying to do different things of not just that standard, okay, I got the shot, and then we can move on. That's great. But coming up with unique ways to actually take the pictures while you're in the moment, that's even more fun too. So that's a lot of what I do. Is I'll just be walking in the park and go, and then, I'll get my creative juices going a little bit, and I'll be like, let me try this. And so, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but hey, that's the great thing about, cameras on your phone. You can just delete it if you don't.
That's the thing, is we're living in such a great time that storage is so cheap that you can take so many pictures, and at the end of the night, just delete the ones you don't like. But and you mentioned something about black and white photography, which I don't think people consider. I never really consider it that much, but when I do, it crosses my mind at a time or two. If I take some black and white shots, here's another tip. All my photos go to Google Photos as a backup.
Yes.
And so Google Photos will grab your pictures and it'll take some interesting ones and do some cool stuff. It'll stylize them sometimes. Scott and I always do this on our trips. If you take water pictures, they always grab water pictures to stylize.
Yeah.
But the thing is, black and white ones, sometimes they'll take them and they'll colorize just a portion of the picture.
Yeah.
The person, or the hotel will be colored, and then the water will still remain black and white. Everything else will be black and white. So that's kind of back up to Google Photos. You get some really interesting creative stuff that happens post-production that you don't even have to do. It'll just
it just does it on its own.
Yeah, it's I love that. It's like Christmas. Oh my God, that's so, and then I post it like I did it,
Right, exactly.
Google that. Okay, Pam, what are you thinking here on the, trying to get some creative juices going for capturing?
So I was going to say too, especially if you're traveling with a number of people who are going to take pictures of their own and or want pictures that you took, figure out what service or how you're going to share those photos. You can use, I know that Apple has that ability through there, but it's typically easier, especially because everyone has different phones and whatnot, to choose a service that everyone can access, whether it's Google Photos, like Mike had talked about, or something else, some kind of sharing process. Because I think that's one of the more challenging things is, as soon as you get home, life starts up right away, right? And if you don't do it, if you don't have something that is in the moment, you can share right then. If you have to wait to get home and then have time to look through your photos, so then you can share your photos and whatnot, you aren't going to do it, or you're going to miss something, or you're going to forget. Just pick something. For me, like Mike, I think Google Photos is the easiest. It backs up to that, and then I can pick whatever photos I want and dump them in a folder. And the ones that I don't want to share, I don't have to, but they're all there. And once they're backed up to Google, it takes me milliseconds to pick about 10 or 20 or 100 of them and dump them in another file. It's instantaneous almost. So I think that that's huge.
Because we have a question here actually from Diane in the live chat, which I think is good for Ricky or Pam, because you guys both do this better than I do. She says, how do you get good camera phone shots at the restaurants on the Disney Wish? She says, with the ambient lighting, I feel like all my pictures had a bluish or red hue depending on the restaurant for like Frozen, Hyperspace Lounge, Marvel, etc. Now,
I think
do you want to give the Hannah tip?
yes,
Yeah.
the Hannah light. That's what so many people call it. But you can look on Amazon and there's just a clip-on light that you can put on your phone. It's battery operated. It's like an LED light. They have a lot of them have different settings for the kind of light, whether it's blue or has a whatever kind of hue you're looking for, and that does tend to help with things like that. And I will say that is, I think getting food shots is one of the more challenging ones for the reason that you mentioned. First of all, the lighting is usually funky. And even if it feels bright enough, it may have a hue that you didn't really even anticipate. And you look at your photos afterward and you're like, whoa, look at those. Like, that's not anything what it looked like. So that you might have to tweak a little bit and play with after you're done. And you may have to fool with the settings a little bit on those photos, but having the light really does help because it gets some more light in those shots, some more white light or yellowish light that really, really impact that. And the other thing is that you're going to want to practice a little bit taking pictures of something that is going to be that close. When you think about the pictures that you take in your normal everyday life, most of them are not that close to you. Most of them are going to be of a subject that is a little further away. So that's something that you can practice too.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And especially with food shots, you're right. It is a little more difficult. The Hannah light, by the way, is usually it's considered a selfie light. So if you just like search, Amazon or whatever for a selfie light, that will usually pop up, and it's the one that you clip on your phone. Another tip, of course, if you don't want to buy a selfie light is, if there's somebody else in your party with you, have them shine their flashlight on your food. Now, don't have them shine it directly on your food because then that's going to give it a weird glow as well. But, have them shine it back a little bit and maybe off to the side a little so that at least gives it a different, a normal-ish color instead of like that blue, hue or whatever, a dark hue or, whatever. Another tip that I have for photographing food is, yes, you can do I photograph food a lot. So you can do like an over the, the plate shot. But, again, think about those different angles because you want to make sure that the food looks appetizing. You don't want to like show everybody, look, this is what I ate and have them go,
also,
gross.
The number one rule, if you ever sit down with us, if you ever have dinner with us, and we'd love to have dinner with you sometime.
Yes.
The camera eats first.
Camera definitely eats first. Yeah.
At all tables. Camera eats first. So don't go take a big, because I'm the worst at this. Like, don't go taking a big bite out of your burger. They're like, oh, you need to take a picture.
No! Yeah.
Dude, you got 7 pictures of that already. Back off.
Exactly. No, yeah. So, but again, I try to take pictures of different angles of the food. So, I'll try to get like close of like, say it's a burger or something like that. I'll do a side close-up shot of the burger. That way it looks appetizing and delicious and you get to see the side, all of the burger, that kind of thing. What makes it so delicious, and so again, play with the angles while you're photographing your food. And that way, you can get food photos that look appetizing because the light is right, now that you've gotten your Hannah light, and then you're not just taking like over the, overhead shots of the food too. Cause that's just, that's just a basic, you can get really creative with what you're doing. And the good thing is I'm very fast at what I do too. So like, I know Mike's hungry. I don't make Mike wait forever to eat. I'll take pictures of Mike's food first usually.
I'll bite you,
but,
your finger.
That's true. But I'll take them really fast. Like I won't like spend 20 minutes also, trying to get the perfect shot of his food. I will, be respectful of him and take it as fast as I possibly can. Boom, I got a good shot of it. Okay, obviously I can see that I have a good shot because it's on my phone. And Mike, here's your food. Please eat and stop trying to take my hand and bite it.
Sometimes I do talk to my food. I tell it to work it. You're a lion.
That works too.
Anyway, it doesn't usually help. But okay, so here's what next round. My tip is either during a trip. This is especially true if you have like toddlers or elementary age kids. Okay, so this is for the younger set. Interview your kid during the trip. Now get video, but don't make it longer than a minute, probably less than 30 seconds, but little snippets. Because here's the thing, how many people videotape like the whole show for like Enchantment or Harmonious? Then how many people probably watch that when they get home? I would say probably 90% of the people never watch that whole show once they get home. Because the thing is, when you get home, you can find better versions of that online. Like, we're living in a time where you can get awesome HD 4K versions of every show. You're probably not going to watch that entire 20-minute show at home. However, what's going to be precious is turn that camera on your 6-year-old little boy, little girl, ask them just a question, like, just while you're hanging out in the Magic Kingdom, like, what's your favorite part of today? Just some really open-ended question, because they're going to come back with some crazy answer, or while you're hanging out at the pool, and just ask them. Here's another tip. Give that, and this is a brave tip, make sure you have a good case, like an OtterBox or something better. Let them have your phone and just kind of dictate like a little tour of what you're doing in the hotel room. Just have them talk about the pool at your hotel, or tell them you got 1 minute. Tell me about this ride we're getting ready to go on. It'll be priceless, and you'll get to remember. Because here's the thing. One thing I miss about Magical Mouse Radio, if you guys were around way back then, I had bumpers where Mallory would say things like, "You're listening to Magical Mouse Radio." And she was like 6. And it was the cutest thing ever. I mean, I'm her dad, but it was like she had her tonsils.
It's not like you're biased at all, right?
She had this weird like way she said things. I mean, it's almost like she was British or something. I don't know where that accent came from, but just hearing your kids, and like 10 years later, that is going to just hearing your kids and seeing the video too, to supplement all those still images you're going to have from the trip. Take video, but also get the audio, get them and get their hot takes on what's the best part of today. What do you remember? What tell me about what's your best thing you've had today as far as the food? And it'll crack you up. So get little, but don't make it too long because you won't watch it. Make it little snippets throughout the day, throughout the trip. Okay, Ricky, give us something else.
Well, to kind of go along with that, when you're, greeting characters and things like that, a lot of people think, oh, I have to get photos of it, but again, get video of, whether it's you meeting characters or your kids meeting the characters or, your significant other or whatever, because the interaction that they're going to have with that character, it's going to be so awesome to be able to see back in the future. And the great thing about it, especially like iPhones and things like that, is you can actually take photos while it's recording, which, trust me, I do that all the time. I mean, seriously.
If people don't know, which 90% of the people do know this, but maybe somebody doesn't.
Exactly.
There's a white button while you're taking a video. There's a white button there. Just push the white button, and what it does, it takes a still shot every time you push it. So
correct.
Because I don't think it's real intuitive. Some people might not even realize you can.
It isn't very intuitive, and you do kind of have to know. So yeah, that was going to be another tip I was going to share, is the little white button. So thank you for doing that. But
I mean, it's there. You might not even notice it's there.
You may not. You may just overlook it, because gosh knows there are definitely things that I'll just look on my phone and totally miss it until somebody points it out to me. So but yeah, I mean, that way, I use that all the time. So when I'm videoing things for like the Mouse for Less or whatever, my finger is on the button, like it's right, ready, prime to go. So like if I need to take still shots of whatever I'm videoing, I can do that too. So it's bang, twice the bang for your buck in that one instance. So I use it all the time. I mean, all the time. So, and like I said, do it with your kids, because, that way you can, get those, you can still get the video of the interaction, but then you also can get, those sweet moments with the character too in a still shot. And don't just take the pose picture, take some candid stuff, take them, hugging the character or, talking to the character or whatever. That way that, it's a little more sincere. And, some of my favorite pictures, granted, they are by a PhotoPass photographer, our wonderful friend, Kim Taylor. She did this. She did this for me a couple of years ago. Back when I was meeting, it was Rapunzel. And she took some amazing pictures of me meeting Rapunzel. And so, again, if you don't want to do video, take those candid photos of, your party meeting those characters, because that's the stuff, or your party on a ride, or, whatever, I always take pictures of, my my brother and stuff like that when, you know, we're in the middle of riding an attraction or whatever. So like, you know, take it while you're on it too. Take it of your family and just, you know, really don't focus so much on the posed moments, but focus on those candid moments that you can really get.
Okay, so as we go over to Pam, I want to ask both of you guys your thoughts on this, because I don't know how I feel about this. When you're shooting video, landscape versus portrait, because I used to be, because I'm old, right? We talked about this on Wednesday show. Somebody's like, you don't like harmonious just because you're old. You missed that show, Ricky.
Oh, that's awesome. Good.
It's not just because you're old. That's not why you don't like harmonious. But I used to shoot all video landscape, right? Because it would look right on a TV. Like if I was going to watch it on a big screen TV, it would look normal, like a video. But then I'm like, well, when I show it like for reels or something on Instagram or for social media, it almost needs to be in portrait mode.
I know.
So now I'm like in this, God, every time I shoot video, I just don't know like what to do. Pam, what do you think about that landscape and videos? I mean, I know like for a lot of our social channels, you want to do both, but like if you're on vacation, how do you feel about that?
It is weird because if you're going to do it in landscape because you're only going to watch it yourself, right? So you're going to put it up on your TV, or you're going to use it for YouTube is one of the few locations that you're really going to need it at. But if you're using it solely to like share on social media of some sort, then it does have to be portrait. It really does. That's going to be the best aspect ratio that works with those different social media formats. So I think it's challenging. I really, really, truly do. It depends on what you're using it for. What is more
because I mean, I wish there was like a way to shoot the video and then just be able to say
in both, right?
Yeah, like okay, I want this in portrait. I want this.
Yeah,
it's 2022. We can do everything with
right.
this.
Why can't we do this? Yeah. Whatever phone maker does this will be a genius. Like so somebody's gonna be able to do it. Your whatever phone maker can photograph in or video in both landscape and portrait mode at the same time, I will buy your phone. It can be Apple, it can be Galaxy, it can be Samsung, it can be, you know, I don't know, some new creation. If you come up with it, I'm buying that phone 100%.
But the reason when you think about it is that so many are using portrait this is how we all look at our phone.
Well,
and so many of us, when we look at the website stats and whatever, the percentage of people who are accessing our website and social media and every other website under the sun are looking at it like this. They are not doing this.
It's true.
And that's why at different things it has changed. For a while in Instagram, when you did a reel or something else, you could shoot it this way. Yeah. And you still can. But that's what I'm saying. When
you see the stats,
it's going to change.
If you put a landscape video in reels, it has dramatically less views than a portrait mode. It is crazy.
Yes, it's true.
100%. And that is what has happened.
Yes.
That is why it's going to be that way. So it really does depend on how and what's funny is so many of us now, like my mom will say, I saw the picture of you on Facebook or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just that's how we share parts of our lives. It just happens that way. So I think it's interesting. And, you can always think about, okay, this is how I want to use this. But at the end of the day, if anyone is watching it but you need to think about how that's going to be used too. True. What format they're going to do it. So
true.
Well, I'm with Don. He's got definite. He's team landscape for sure, and I was too, because like I just think that's the right way. That's the professional. Like if there's a professional,
agree.
I feel like if I want to shoot it the right way, I want to do it landscape. If I'm shooting a portrait, I'm shooting it like a 12-year-old girl. You know,
no, I know.
Like some girl on Snapchat or something.
So you're doing it like a 25-year-old influencer who's making way more than any of us ever will in our lifetime.
Exactly.
I'm totally not an influencer, but it's like I do want to share my videos on social media, so I feel like I am drawn to portraits. I feel dirty, but I do it.
No, Mike, I'm 100% with you, because I went to school for media. Like you film in landscape, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what you film in. That's what I'm automatically geared to filming in is landscape. And so I do now, a lot of times I will film things in both ways because you never know what I'm going to use it for. So I'll film it in landscape, I'll film it, in portrait, and then I'll go from there. But I have found that occasionally, they actually have the ability on Reels, and I don't know if TikTok does it and all, but I know on Reels, if I film it in landscape, I can technically like do it so that there's a button I can push that will make it portrait. Now, the only problem is that you can't move the screen over at all when you do that. So you have to make sure that if you're doing it in landscape, that what your focus is absolutely 100% in the middle. So that way, if you do change it to, that vertical orientation on a Reels or something like that, it will show up correctly. Because there's definitely been times where I've filmed something, horizontally, and then been on, trying to edit it on Reels. I'm like, dang, I can't use it, so like I'm with you, Mike. I 100% automatically want to go landscape. Like it's how my brain is wired, and I have a hard time doing it in portrait mode. But that's what I've started to try to do both, which again takes up so much extra space on my phone. But
I started to $100 extra to pay for the extra 256 gigs because my head explodes. I mean, it's like now I just feel like, okay, I can use the space. Like I have the space to do stuff like that, but it's a good conversation though. I mean, I hope people are finding this interesting because I think everybody's kind of in that pickle. Like, are we taking it for grandma? Are we taking it? But everybody's sharing. Even if you're taking it for grandma at this point, she's on
Facebook. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not just influencers. Everybody is. You're not influencing necessarily, but you are sharing like an influencer because you're using the same channels. Maybe you're sharing on TikTok. Maybe you're not sharing to 2 million people, but you're sharing to your relatives. Or whatever. Good conversation. So Pam, give us another tip. This is kind of fun stuff.
So I was going to share along with your tip, Mike, where you're asking your child what they liked or whatever. I think that is something that we used to do when Hannah was little. Was we literally made sheets for her. And this is especially true of like elementary school age children. At the end of the day or the beginning of the next day, we had her write out like, this is what I did. And depending on the child's age, you can absolutely expect more or less from them in that, in that kind of thing. But it's like, here's what I did, and here's a resort I stayed at, or here's what I swam in the pool today, or I saw this at the parks, or I really liked this, or I ate this. And you can think of the questions and put them in there and have your child answer that. So it sort of was twofold, right? It was so that when she missed school, she could take something back into the teacher and show them, guess what? I did these things. And it is the school of education, life school of education has value. And I think most teachers really do appreciate that, unless you're taking your child out every other week with things like that. But then you can just show them, and that can be a conversation, and that can be a conversation that your teacher can have. Your child's teacher can have with them. But I also really love looking back on it. We had her do her own little scrapbook one year, and it was the cutest thing. The things that kids find remarkable, or that kids find magical or funny or whatever, is so hilarious to go back and see. It just, their minds and the way that they work and the way that they process things are really cool.
Well, what's really cool about that is now that Hannah's a teacher, she could take that into students and show, hey, this was my writing when I was a kid. I mean, it's modeling really, but I mean, it's a great resource.
It really is. And that would be awesome for them to see. It's probably around the same age. She teaches 3rd grade now, so probably at that point. But yeah, I know. And they'll die, right? The kids will love that. She's always explaining to them that she lives out in the country now. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I mean, we don't have a grocery store in town, or we don't have Giant Eagle as our big grocery store. And they're just shocked by this because where she teaches is where we used to live, which is more in a town. So they can't even believe that this is happening.
She's like, my dad's getting a tractor to put in his shed.
Right?
No, he is not.
He's at least riding lawnmower. Come on, get him. I'm trying to get Steve a riding lawnmower at least. He's got to have a riding lawnmower. Okay, lightning round. Let's go one more tip. My last tip here, just something that's so common sense, but I mean, this is dead. I mean, it's staring you in the face. You got to think about your power management when you get down there, because your phone is your camera, but it's also your My Disney experience. It's your ADRs, it's your Genie Plus, it's your lightning lanes, it's everything. I mean, it's your Twitter, so you know what's going on in the world. If you want to know, if you don't want to know, it's grandma telling you that, back home there was a storm and there's a branch in your backyard.
Yes.
It is everything. So not only your camera, which you're going to be using way more than you do in your regular life, because you're going to be shooting videos, you're going to be shooting pictures, you're going to be checking to see if grandma saw your pictures. You're going to be seeing the comments that your boss back home is, they seen that I'm at Walt Disney World on a Tuesday afternoon. You're going to be on that sucker all the time. Here's my best advice. Go on Amazon and buy every person in your family at least one external battery. You can get these things super cheap. The brand that I recommend that's a good value, but it's a great quality, is Anker, Anker. They have great products. You can get them on Amazon. And I'm telling you what, man, just get everybody a $20 or $30 brick. I call them a brick, just an external battery, and force your kids, especially the teenagers who are too lazy, every night before they go to bed, they have to put that thing so that it recharges. Because if that thing isn't on the charger at night, in the morning, if it's dead, it ain't going to do them any good. This drives me nuts, because Mallory will not charge her phone the night before, and she will not charge the external battery. But thank God that I'm just crazy about this stuff. Before bed, I go around and our room has so much. I'm surprised Pop Century doesn't go dim when I start plugging stuff in, because I'm plugging in phones, I'm plugging in external batteries, I'm plugging in a laptop, I'm plugging in an iPad. I mean, my Apple Watch, everything is getting plugged in. But the thing is, then in the morning, when everything's hectic and you're excited, ready to go to the parks, everybody just grabs their phone, they grab their external battery. And don't forget, though, you got to have your cables. Make sure you grab your cables that go with everything, throw them in your pockets or your bag or what have you. But everybody has their full battery on their phone, but they also have another charge on the external battery, and that should at least get you to the midday break or through the day. And those things are cheap. So get external batteries for everybody. Okay, Ricky, one more thing.
So to kind of go along with that, in a way, my biggest tip is to back up. You do not understand how many different ways I back up my photos. I back them up on Google Drive. I'm paranoid, so I back them up on my computer. I'm paranoid, so I back that up on an external hard drive. I'm paranoid, so I back that up on a second external hard drive. Like, I literally am cuckoo bananas about backing up everything, because once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, it's not coming back. So, God forbid someday Google has a crash or whatever, and I'm knocking on all the wood right now that doesn't happen. But like, if it did, and your photos are there, and your photos are the ones that are gone, you are in trouble. Like, if your computer dies, and there's a power surge in your house, because there's a storm, someday you weren't expecting it, and your computer dies and it gets fried, you only had photos on your computer at that point. It's gone. You don't have anything. So, and trust me, I know this from personal experience. It's why I'm so vigilant about backing up, because I had a computer that, now keep in mind, this was a little more, it was definitely my fault, because, it was back in the day when, you were not necessarily downloading the best quality of things off of the internet at that point, and they had lots of viruses. So, I'm just saying, like, I definitely fried my computer with a virus. And I couldn't get, the photos off of it. Now, the good news, I guess, was that it was still early on in my process of things. So it was still early with digital type stuff. So I didn't lose that much. But, if I lost, all these years of photos, I would be crushed. So, I back up. And I, like I said, it may sound paranoid, but it's because I am, and it's because it's happened to me before. So I'd rather have all the backups in the world and not need them than to have the, chance happen where I've lost. all of those memories.
The person who does the best backups is the person who's been burned by it once.
Absolutely.
Like you get burned by it once, and you start to realize.
Never do it again. Yep.
I will say so, real quick. I do it 3 ways, but I do them all on my phone. So I don't do them on my laptop. I should do them locally, but I don't. But I do them to Google Photos, which I do subscribe to that for like $2.99 a month because I just have a ton of Gmail and all kinds of stuff going to my Drive, so it's cheap. But I also go to Amazon. Amazon has free unlimited photo storage for Prime members. So if you're a Prime member, that's a source you can go to, free unlimited if you're a Prime member, which a lot of people are. And also I'm a Apple One subscriber because we have like a family full of phones so that everybody backs their phones up, and we do the Apple News and stuff. So we have the whole bundle. So we get 2 terabytes there. Yeah, 2 terabytes there. So mine go immediately 3 different places on the cloud. So that I consider that safe. I should do a local, but I don't. Okay, real quick, Pam, give us one last tip and we'll jump out of here for the weekend.
Okay. So I'm going to say just how we've talked about doing all these things with your kids and, videoing them and whatnot. If you're doing any kind of extended family trip or even just adult only trip between you and your significant other or whatnot, make sure that you get their input too. I think the videos are important. I think, Ricky and I have both taken our grandmother in particular, and then she had passed away, and having those kind of things became really, really important. Yes. And it was just a really special memory. And I think that having all of that input, having those kind of things, this is the stuff that vacations are made of and made for. It's all about the people that you're with during that time, right? The things that you see, the things that you do, and the people that you're with. That's what makes a vacation. And make sure that you're taking the time to document as much as you can within a format that you will go back and reflect on and have the chance to see again. And video, I think, is really the way to do that for so many reasons. It just is. We all, have shared a 30-second clip of our family member doing something ridiculous or spectacular with someone else. Like, you've got to see my kid doing this, or you've got to see my mom doing this, or you've got to see my husband doing this, or my friend doing this stupid thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, those are the stuff that you're always going to remember, and it sort of outlives you and outlives that person. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, it is. And you talked about that trip with my grandmother, that, this is when it happened. We were actually there in September. So yeah, this time every year, my mom, she shares photos with me because they're on Facebook, and again, that Facebook, on this day or whatever is also a really great, way to remember things like that too. But she's been sharing those with me all week because this was the week that we were, there in Disney with her. And then of course she passed not long after that. So you're right. It's so important to get those memories like that because you don't know when it will come in handy. So
right. Yeah. Jennifer here in the Westplex, she says she has a battery pack with cables built in. So I've seen those. She says it's pricey, but it's worth it because it's less hassle and it's got a fast charge to it. So that's a great tip. Mm-hmm. It's really good for a kid because kid's going to leave the cable behind. I bet you. I would like that.
100%.
And one last thing I want to throw about Google Photos that I learned this last week from somebody on social media is that Google Photos has added an option where once you have your photos uploaded to Google Photos, there's an option where you can just select a bunch of photos and it'll actually make a video for you now.
Nice.
So it'll actually put music and make it a Kimber.
Yes. Steve was using that.
Yeah. So that's something in there. That's a super fast way to make it look sharp. Like just throw all your stills and it'll make the video for you real fast. So there you go. Another tip, another way to share. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today's show. But if you have any tips that we could get out there for the common good, let me know on Instagram and Twitter. I will retweet those on Twitter at @BeOurGuestMike. I'd love to do that this weekend. But we'll also have the live call-in show this Sunday night. That's a great time to call in and have this discussion with us. Scott joins me every Sunday night. We do that at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. So join us for that on Facebook and YouTube again Sunday night. It's you, me, and Scotty G, the live call-in show. Join us for that. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all of your Disney trip planning needs. They're over at themagicforless.com, standing by right now to help you plan the most magical vacation ever. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You make all these shows possible. We could not do this without you, and our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. If you'd like to join us, come on over to patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give Ricky a follow on the social media. She's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS on Instagram and Twitter. Also follow Pam, TMFLT Pam. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike and waiting for you to talk to you this weekend. So we'll see you over there. All right, we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to get up to Troy for the football game tonight as we take on our arch rival. So hopefully we avenge last year's loss and continue on to a 5-0 season. So if you're up there, I'll look for you at Troy. But if you're not there, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. For Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike. We'll see you real soon. All righty. Good stuff, everybody. Good chat. Fire.
Yes. Good job, guys.
Riley is shaved.
What?
She went to the groomer at 10:30 and just got home.
Oh, I
come here.
only heard the word shaved in that. So I was like, what?
Lift her up here.
Oh, hi, baby.
She got a haircut.
Oh, look at you.
They always look like so much smaller.
I know they do.
Super huge. Huh? She goes with me to Taco Bell, though. So,
Of course.
well, not tonight, but I shouldn't have said that. I should be pumped up for Taco
Oh, no.
Dang, sorry.
Whoops. Sorry, Riley.
Riley, not this week. All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you guys.